Awesome Perennials.
Hey YouTube, Awesome Rider here. For today's latest Gotchard video, I wanted to take a little bit more of a positive turn. As you know, I've been pretty harsh on Gotchard. I'll take any excuse to take a jab at Hotaro, even if it's in a Boom Boondra video. I gotta do those Hotaro insults. But I wanted to be a little positive for a change and talk about everything I actually like about Gotchard, especially since one of the last videos I did, I was talking about how Gotchard improved, but I still managed to have a lot of criticisms within it, so this is gonna pretty much be mainly all positives. So first off, on a superficial level, something I've always given praise to is the designs. I pretty much love all of the designs, from the main suit, which is easily still at least top 10 main suits for me. I love a good modern retro aesthetic. It's got that good classic rider look, but with a unique flair. I'm a sucker for goggles on suits for some reason. I think it comes back to the Digimon days. I love the shiny blue color. Even the ability forms, I honestly can't remember all of them off the top of my head because there were so many that debuted back to back, but most of them I either really like the design or have respect for them. Like, I know that the Siren Vine form isn't necessarily one of my favorites aesthetically, but I appreciate the creativity of it. Both of our new recent additions, Majade and Valvod's rider form, are great designs. Valvod's initial design was also really cool. I loved Gotchard Daybreak. I think that was really cool. Story context also made it even cooler. Even more oddball ones like UFO and Rex I really quite enjoy. I love the concept of the chemis. I think it's really cool. The designs are fun. The belts have pretty fun jingles and voices. It's not overly too sing-songy, and the voice isn't overly obnoxious, which is nice, especially since we're about to get that with Boom Boondra. Villains have always been a strong point of the series. As of recently, with the introduction of Greymon without a Mon, it's gotten even more interesting with some of the dynamics and building mystery, and they've started to answer some questions about the past and raise some new ones, which is nice. But even in the days before this second era, the trio of villains had always been one of the bright spots of the series. They always gave a good performance, they had solid presence, they were often pretty cunning, coming up with plans that had the villains on the rope. They delivered one of the series' best moments where they got an upper hand on Hotaro and handed his ass to him, which was always great to see. Oh, speaking of that, reminds me of Kamen Rider Dread. I forgot about Kamen Rider Dread. I like his suit. And even though it's a little bit weird the way they introduced it, I think that like Minato being Dread has been one of the highlights. I think that fits so much better when he became Dread. Also, the more recent-ish arc with Valvod was really great. I think that his place in the show has actually always been a positive for me. He was very much that generic, I'm a badass, I hate the main protagonist, but he was a bright spot in the early days just because I liked his attitude being such a juxtaposition to Hotaro's annoyingness. But so he was always something I liked, even though he was generic. But they've done a lot with his character in the, not a lot, well I mean yeah, a lot. They've done a good job with his character in the second half, actually making him feel more a part of the show, giving him his own story. I love the introduction of his mentor character and their dynamic. He had a really great solid arc going into Valvod's rider form, so he's always been a bright spot, but he's even become a bigger highlight now. I think that's worked out really well for the show. I like all the stuff with Gotchard Daybreak. You know, I'm a sucker for a good mystery hero identity story, and even though I pretty much knew it was going to be a future version of Hotaro, I still think that was a cool twist, and I hope we see more from that. I was surprised and a little disappointed at how fast that actually went by, but I really did enjoy that arc in time and sort of ushering in this new era where there was a little bit more mystery and excitement. I think if he comes back, it could add a lot to the mystery of that. And I like that we have gotten a little bit more answers about the past, and even though it doesn't work 100%, I do appreciate the attempts at kind of explaining more Hotaro's affection for chemis by tying it to the past with him being friends with them before his memory was wiped. You know, I've talked about before how you just couldn't get behind him, like, well, why does he like chemis so much? It seems so, like, shallow compared to something like Aruto where you could understand why he liked Huma Gears, and I appreciate the attempt at explaining that, and also tying it into the memory wipe thing, which I've mentioned in numerous videos how the memory wipe storyline has been this ongoing thing that's been more important than I thought it was going to be. And that might be, outside of Gotchard Daybreak, the thing that I'm most intrigued about, just because honestly, I thought it was going to be a very minor story. They brought it up in that, like, I think it was a 1 or 2-parter, and then they brought it up in regards to, oh my god, I forgot this dude's name. I just had it a minute ago, but this dude who's like a useless character, but I thought that was going to be like his story, where eventually he was going to remember, but it was going to kind of be like a B-plot, but it's been brought up in a lot of major facets, including Hotaro and Valvod, so I'll admit I'm intrigued by that, and I'm intrigued by why they decided to make that so important. So yeah, there has been some things to enjoy. The series has gotten a lot better. It's always had some good action and good suits, but at least now there's a lot more serialized plots going on, and the villains have been strong, so there is stuff to enjoy enjoying the series and stuff I'm enjoying, which especially has been nice now because it makes it a lot easier to cover and talk about when I do, and it doesn't feel like as much of a chore, even though I do hope we have better series on the horizon. But what are things you are actually enjoying about Gotchard? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for my videos. Dawson Rider, signing out.